Welcome to ISRA League's Grand Touring Championship, Season 6, brought to you by Z1 Simwheel. This is the 2 Hours of Spa, our season opener. My name's Daniel Quaroni, and with me in the announcing booth is Anthony Muniz.
Thanks, Dan. It's great to be here today at Spa.
All right, let's take a look at the track here. Spa, I think most people like it. A couple people hate it, but it's definitely a very memorable track. Lots of really well-named curves, and it's presents a lot of different challenges, so it's very easy to tell where you are on track. I think key elements here tonight are going to be that the LMP2 category here is so much faster around these long sweeping curves that they're going to have to really work the traffic in order to keep on pace with the leader.
Yeah, that's right, Dan. There's especially with all of the cars that we have in this series, they're going to have to remember that this is a long race and that they need to be patient, but also need to negotiate the traffic quickly, as like you said, to make sure that they keep pace with the leaders, because a lot of these guys are really quick.
Speaking of really quick, let's talk about the qualifying results. In the LMP2 category, we've got David Serrois on pole. He did an amazing 2-minute, 2-second, 0.6 qualifying time. But Colin McLean was not too far off from that at 2 minutes 2.75. Rounding out the top five is Mark Payne and Jeremy Burris.
For the Corvettes, we had Don Hunter qualifying first with a lap time of 2:15. Timothy Stoll, Clint Vegas, Giles Moret, and Marty Jeffries were the top five.
All right, and in Ford GT, we had Wyatt Foster at 2:19.445. Thomas Stockman and Kevin Parrish, then Daniel Giralty, and actually Mike Taylor in his Corvette got mixed up before Todd Carver with a 2-minute 21. And we are about to go racing. The pace car has ducked into the pits, and there we go. That's a green flag for 120 minutes of racing. And
looks like a clean start through a Rouge.
That's right. The LMP is having no trouble now. On board with Jeremy Burris now, following Mark Payne as they head up the Kemmel Straight. And Jeremy Burris doing 160 now and braking into the right-hander, followed by the quick left, and then set up again for the right-hander. Looks like the top, the top 10 or so are still in a nice tight pack. We like to see that. Mm-hmm. Switching now to look at Don Hunter chasing down Timothy Stoll. Looks like Tim got by Don sometime around the start, since Don was on pole there. Not too much separating them there as they head into Pujon. Don right on Tim's tail. Nice.
You can see they've managed to separate themselves a little bit from third place, Clint Vegas. Timothy Stoll going a little wide there on that right-hander.
That's right, and that's going to hurt him here. Let's see if Don's able to do anything. It's going to be tough. No, I think he went for the cautious approach there since he had the outside line.
Definitely a smart move there by Don. This is a long race, and he's going to have plenty of time to get that first place position.
And here he's picking up the draft as we head down Blanchimont. Corvette's having to brake now in that curve. Previous seasons with the old tire model, they didn't have to. Into the bus stop. And a good exit. Don slightly wide, but not too shabby. And through the source. Let's see if Don... Nope, it looks like Tim got a much better run through La Source there, and that'll carry him all the way through Rouge.
Yep. Don was on the brakes later, but also didn't have the optimal line through that corner, so that gave Timothy the advantage.
Looks like Don may have had a better exit, though. Carried more speed up the Kemmel Straight.
You can see the tail end of the LMP class, so they're not too far ahead of the Corvettes.
Well, that's right, and I think by now I can tell you that a couple LMPs had some troubles. Mike Kelly spun right up there in Lake Holmes, and I got a little bit squirrely as I passed him and got a little knock from Brian, and that sent me off track. Fortunately, no damage. Tim is opening a bigger gap here. Still only 0.6 seconds, though, so definitely nothing to feel safe about. Once again, nice and tidy, keeping it in the track lines through Pujon. That's always such a tricky corner because you enter it fast, and a good line is going to take you right to the edge, and it's hard to tell if you're going to be off until you're pretty much there.
That's also a difficult corner for qualifying because you want to take that as quick as possible, but sometimes you can dip a couple tires off and have that lap not counted, so you have to be careful.
Very true. Now we're on board with Tim McLeish as we see the end of the LMP tail, and here that's Brian Carrick going into the pits, and it looks like Jeremy Burris, I think, who got off right there, and we've got Lance Snyder in the pink, then Tim McLeish. There I am making the move on, I believe that was Jeremy. And also Tim, as Tim gets very loose on acceleration but saves it.
That can be a very tricky corner, especially in the LMPs, because they have that tricky first gear that if you got the wheel turn just a little bit too much, it'll definitely send you sideways. So it was a good recovery on his part.
On board now with Jeremy Burris as he in fourth at the moment as he tries to hunt down Mark Payne. Jeremy Burris in the DHL DHL marked LMP, and Mark in the what would you call that? A light green and white.
Sponsored, I believe he's sponsored by Inside SimRacing.tv. They put out a great production on YouTube. Oh, and looks like Jeremy's going to make a move, but I don't think he'll get it going into the corner. Oh,
no,
Mark has the advantage right there.
Gets the inside, coming into the left-hander. But that gives Mark the inside for the right-hander here.
Jeremy's sticking with him, though.
That's right, and he made the pass there. Very nicely done. Some excellent close driving there between those two. And on board once again with Jeremy as he heads into the bus stop. Braking into it, nice and tidy. No challenge for Mark as he heads into there. Gets onto the gas pretty well. Now, I'm wondering what downforce package Jeremy was running. I know that Mark was running a low downforce package, and that's going to give him an advantage on the straights. So we'll have to see as they come up here through Kemmel, up through Rouge into Kemmel, what happens.
Looks like Jeremy's managed to get a little bit of an advantage just going through La Source, but Mark looks like he picks up that lost time. Going to pull right under the back of him. That's
right. Low downforce package or not, it looks like Mark got a much better run through Rouge. And Don Hunter getting a little bit too much power on, coming out of the bus stop and spins it right into the wall. Fortunately did a full 360 and is back in the race, but potentially with some damage. Oh, and there is someone going off. Someone missed their break point for La Source there.
Looks like Don was able to get it going without much damage. The car seems to be out driving all right, so...
Yeah, that's right. I'm not sure what a good speed through Eau Rouge is there, but it looked like he went about as fast as Clint Vigas, and it's possible his top end has suffered a little bit. Clint hit... Clint went about a mile or two faster now per hour, but still showing Don in third. I thought he got past there. I guess he got passed by Clint because he was in second at the time. And you can see the damage there to his front right. Well, we'll have to see if he's able to keep a competitive pace or if Gilles, who's coming right up behind him, is able to take advantage of that damage.
Looks like he's able to at least keep running laps competitively, so he won't have to pit to repair that damage. So he hopefully won't lose too much time.
And looks like we were going to be focusing on Ryan Huff here. Got a weak connection from Ryan, so hopefully we'll be able to stick with him as he tries to chase down Joe Jr. This is not for a particularly high spot at the moment. Ryan running in 13th. As always for a season opener, plenty of cars in the GT2 category, running the Ford GT, as everyone who's new to the league runs that first. And looking now at Chuck Chambliss. Chuck looks like he's being hunted down, or rather, is he hunting down John? He's hunting down John Kuzlin,
yep.
Yeah. And that's John in 5th, Chuck in 6th at the moment. Chuck taking a little bit too much curb. But it doesn't seem to have hurt him as they come up on some traffic. Ford GT going really wide, giving them plenty of room. I believe that was Stephen Clark.
I believe so. On board now with Jomar Green, currently in 16th position in the Ford GT. Going a little wide there.
And he's in the 51 car there. He is hunting down number 43 Carlos, and it looks like Ryan has spun it also there in the bus stop coming out of there, probably under
Looks
power.
like that may have been involved with that other Ford GT. I'm not sure which car it is, but there is some damage on that yellow Ford GT, so they could have been involved with him as well.
Yes, you're right. And was that... I couldn't quite see the number on it as we went by. I think it had a 7, but let's see if we can get a better shot. Well, we're looking at Jomar now, so it looks like we've jumped across. And Jomar... Oh, no, I'm sorry. We were still on Jomar before, weren't we? Yep, chasing down Carlos as another Ford GT comes out of the pits. Fortunately letting them by. No troubles there, but it looks like Jomar is alongside. On board now with Jomar as he tries to make the pass under braking, gets the inside line. And it looks like he's done it.
Pass.
Yep. Nice pass down past Carlos. That was a very nice, clean pass.
I believe that's the LMP of...
That's Brent right there.
Oh, okay.
Or is it Brian?
I believe that Tim McLeish?
No, Tim's in the red and white.
Okay.
Yeah, that display there is a little bit unreliable right now, so
okay.
So
my
have
apologies.
to trust your memory. So up ahead of us here, we've got the Dirt Devil Ford GT. Hopefully we'll see more of that. It's a great paint job. Switching now to PJ Losey, and he's trying to hunt down Colin McLean. Colin, who got knocked way down due to an incident with Jerry Morsdorf. Not Jerry, I'm sorry, wrong one. Was it Jared Livingston? It was a C6R that got loose under braking, and it looks like, Colin's got some very bad damage there. He's lost his entire front end, so that's probably the race for Colin.
Just looking to make sure that he can try and get that back to the pits. Most likely his crew won't be able to repair that, but it's always good to try and if you can get the car back, get it back, and you might get lucky.
That's right. Well, the front end is the easiest thing to replace. It is a piece that they can work on.
Yep.
Back end, if you damage that, that's the end. Because that is one fixed piece on the chassis. But that's a real pity, Colin having been in second before.
And he was very strong in practice as well, so he could have been a contender for at least top 3.
Well, speaking of top 3, we're looking now again at Don Hunter, and he is currently in the 3rd spot, right behind Clint Vigas. So it looks like that damage to his car has not slowed him down too much. They're a good 5.5 seconds behind Timothy Stoll, who's in the first position in the C6R category. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see if it's just that Don is down on pace and Clint was always down on pace, or whether they're keeping up with Tim.
Mm-hmm. Now we look at Mark Payne, who is currently in the third spot as they make their way through GT traffic. Looks like he will be chasing down Jeremy Burris, who's not about a second and a half ahead of him or so.
And Mark, with a little bit of damage to his rear wing, you can see that there's a little bend there. Jumping over to Alex Huleri, our league admin, and he's currently running in third in the Corvettes. Oh, I'm sorry, fifth. That was an example right there where some bad data got the standings off for a moment, but running real close with number 31, Gilles Moret. There we go.
Alex had a great run at La Source and really closed the gap between him and Giles. So see if he can't. Looks like he's able to. Giles was able to get a little bit of space between them going through this Rouge. So let's see if Alex can make some of that time back up.
Well, as you can see, Gilles is blinking a little bit, and I'm not sure if that's just because they were far away from me, since this is my replay, or if that was happening for Alex, but unlikely that he'd make a move with that kind of packet loss. Looking now in Jeremy Burris's car as he heads through Eau Rouge. Jeremy in second at the moment still, and a Ford GT holding him up. That's going to make a huge difference now as Mark Payne tries to catch up and wasn't slowed down by the Ford GT down Kemmel. And there's Mark making the pass under braking of the Ford GT, not of Jeremy. And traffic thick in this section of the track. Let's see if Jeremy takes an outside line around here in the carousel. No, he goes for the inside. It's okay, though, because although he's losing time on the leader, there's no space for Mark to get by.
Looks like a little bit of miscommunication right there. That'll cost Jeremy the second place.
That's right.
That's negotiation through the traffic at work right there. Sometimes it helps you, sometimes it hurts you.
Well, you saw what he did right there. He tucked right in behind the Ford GT, didn't give himself a lot of room to maneuver, and when he would have been able to get on the gas and power by that Ford had he held a little bit back, he wasn't able to, and he didn't have the exit speed, and Mark just ran on by.
Mm-hmm.
And here's where you can see Mark's low downforce package, I think, coming into play. He's definitely opening the gap there and putting a Corvette in between the number 66 car. And that's Mike Taylor. And back to Don Hunter. Don Hunter still hunting down Clint Vigas.
I wonder if that bit of damage that Don has on the front of his car is playing into their battle right here, because Don is quite a fast driver, and the fact that he hasn't been able to get past Clint either shows how well Clint is driving, or maybe a little bit of factoring in that damage that Don had from his spin. So, well,
that's right, and recall that they were about 5.5 seconds down from the leader in the class, Timothy Stoll, and now they're about 8.5 seconds down. So 3 huge seconds. That was 10-15 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that probably that damage is really hampering Don's ability to make this Corvette go around the track. You can see the frustration there, though. I think Don really wants to get by, and he sees some almost opportunities, but hasn't quite had the chance.
Mm-hmm. As a driver, you just have to remember that, especially for our endurance races, that there is another hour and 30 minutes or so left, and you definitely will have chances to pass. Maybe
and speaking of
chances to pass, Don Hunter able to get through into second place through the bus stop. Looked like Clint Vigas had gone a little wide, maybe missed his braking point there, and that was the opportunity Don needed to get past for second place.
And looking now at Ryan Corns and me, Daniel Quaroni, and James Mine's Ford GT, the 84, playing a part there. I think I would have had the speed to get by, but didn't have the room on the track.
And see, you could really pull right up on the back of Ryan there coming down into the bus stop, and he has to defend on the inside. As you can see, there's a Corvette that is off track there, probably spun going into the bus stop.
Trying to see if I can go 3 wide. It's not quite going to happen.
But you do make the pass on the Corvette on the outside, which will give you allow you to be right behind Ryan as you go through a Rouge.
That's right. And let's see if I hold up a little bit. No, I'm trying for the pass through a Rouge.
And that is a great move. It'll give you the pass, too. Ducking on the left side of some Ford GTs to head down Kimmel Straight.
And drafting off, both of us drafting off Ford GTs here. And that's actually Daniel Gralti ahead of Ryan. And Daniel, I believe, in 3rd position right now in Ford GT. No, I'm wrong about that. Right now he's in 6th.
As we go on board with Ryan, as you can see that those Ford GTs played a big factor into that positioning, as you pulled quite a gap on him just through those couple straights, or those couple turns rather.
Yeah, that's a good 2 seconds almost that maybe not, 1.5 seconds. And I think probably that Ford GT held me up a little bit through Pujon and gave Ryan the opportunity to catch up a little. As we switch to PJ Losi, also navigating through traffic at Pujon and trying to hunt down Tim McLeish.
PJ currently running 9th in the LMP2 class. And he is currently about 45.5 seconds off of the leader. So definitely a ways to go to get back up to the front, but he definitely has a couple HPDs that are right in front of him that he'll be looking to get past.
That's right. In addition to PJ hunting down Tim, we've also got Tim right on Lance's tail as they make a pretty bold inside move on James Mines in the left-hander at Blanchimont. And another car falling prey to the braking zone at the bus stop and pulling off track and waiting for an opportunity to rejoin. And the 66 of Mike Taylor going wide to let the LMPs by.
That was really critical for PJ to get by him on that corner, so he'll have no cars slowing him down as they go through a Rouge and then onto the Kimmel Straight. He needs all the speed he can to catch back up to Tim.
Well, it looks like he's got a great run down Kimmel off a Rouge. The question is, it clearly won't be enough. I was wondering if Tim was going to be able to make a move on Lance, and that didn't happen either. And switching now to Todd Carver in the Ford GT as he tries to make a move on Luke Poulin. And it looks like they are running 6th and 7th right now.
Todd did throw his the nose of his car out, but wasn't near close enough to make that pass. So
Chuck Chambliss here in, I believe, what is he? He's 4th right now, in 4th position, and hunting down John Kuzland. who's right in front of him in the bus stop.
John currently about 21 seconds off the pace of the leader. Next, second place is Mark Payne, and he's about half of that. So he's about 9.2. Ooh, as you can see, I believe that's Alex, who spun going into La Source, or coming out of La Source, rather.
Yeah, I think we have a moment where we can probably go through the top 5 in each class. So obviously David Serwas still holding first position in the LMP class with Mark Payne 9 seconds or so behind. And then John Kuzland 22 seconds behind him. So there's the big gap in LMP. With Chuck Chambliss and Jerry Morrisdorf, well, Jerry's 38 seconds behind. So there again, another 10-second gap.
In the GT1 Corvette class, Timothy Stoll is your leader, followed by Don Hunter, who is 7.7 seconds off the lead. Clint Vigas is in third, about 16 seconds behind him. Giles Morat is in fourth, and Alex Uleri, he's in fifth, about 30 seconds off.
And in GT2, we've got the ever-fast in GT Wyatt Foster leading, and he's got Kevin Parrish a full 12.4 seconds behind him, so no pressure on him there. And then James Cullen in third is 30 seconds off Wyatt. But finally, then we get some competition. We've got Daniel Gralti in fourth, 32 seconds off the leader, and James Mine's another 3 seconds back from there. And it looks like someone has blown an engine up here.
Is that a Corvette?
It's a Corvette.
Yeah, it looks like it is. Yep.
And, you know, if I didn't know Timothy Stoll was still running strong in the lead, I would say that was him. But obviously not. It had a very similar paint job. We're now a good 25 minutes into the race, and that means that we're going to start seeing HPDs with their pit stops in the next 10 minutes. They've only got about 35 minutes of fuel on board tops.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big strategy. Some guys were going to... if they try and push their fuel as far as they can, if they try and save fuel to try and cut off one pit stop. I don't know if they'll be able to do that because of the race length, but pit strategy will definitely play into the overall strategy of the race.
Chuck Chambliss now right on the rear bumper of John Kuzland as they head into braking for Lacombe. He's closed that second or so gap very nicely, and now let's see if he can find that opportunity. It looks like both of them have some rear right damage on their wing. On board now with Chuck, as we see the GT holding them up, and there you've got John, who did a great job negotiating the traffic, didn't hug too close to the Ford GT, and was able to get some good speed to pass. And that looks like Don Hunter 44, and they're letting them by with plenty of room. That
looks like John Kuzland. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Dan.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that definitely cost, the traffic cost Chuck some time there.
Yes, that's what I was going to point out. John is able to pull out a good second or so over Chuck. So, and it looks like he'll also put a Corvette between them as well.
That's right. Now, this is Timothy Stoll, our race leader, and you can see how the paint job looks awfully similar to that Corvette that had blown the engine. So I wonder if they're both running the same paint scheme there.
Looks like Chuck was really able to close the gap between him and John Kuzland going through the bus stop.
Well, I think Chuck's running better times here. It's just a question of finding that opportunity to pass. Not really taking advantage of the draft there, though. He was quite a bit off to the left compared to John. And he's looking, but thinking better of trying to pass there despite... Well, he had about one car length, so definitely not a good opportunity to pass.
No. Oh, that is an old intimidation move. He could be poking it out to try and maybe see if he can get John to maybe make a little mistake on his braking zone, but John is a veteran driver. I don't think he'd fall for something like that.
Absolutely, yeah. Ford GT going... Well, that looked like going wide enough track at the entry to Brujon. We'll see if the Ford exits. Well, we didn't see it.
Looked like he went very wide. He could have. I wonder if he had a problem and just decided to pull off the racing line to get out of the way.
That's quite possible. Here's where the LMPs are purely flat out through this entire section here. No need to brake. So let's see if Chuck... he's taking the inside, but I don't think he's going to have it. Nope, he does not have it going to the bus stop. And it looks like they're coming up on some lapped LMP traffic. And the lap traffic giving them plenty of room to get by. And with half an hour in the books now, we should expect to see somebody pitting pretty soon. Chuck doing a great job of sticking with John, but just can't get that the draft to give him the speed he needs in order to make the pass.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if Chuck might be... It might be running different downforce packages, and that's just the reason that they're having trouble getting by.
Well, that's definitely possible. I would expect to see John pulling a little bit more away on the straights, but it's possible that the draft is just having that much of an effect that Chuck is able to keep up.
Looks like John might be a little bit faster in that portion of the track, but then as we see Chuck come up to the bus stop, he usually the last couple of laps he's made up almost all of the distance between them. Let's see if he does that this time. Oh, maybe we won't see it.
Nope, we're going to look at Ryan Corns now, and Jerry Morsdorf is right on his tail, I believe. On board now with Ryan, and Ryan is ahead of Jerry as we get probably one of the first LMPs to pit coming out of the pits, and that looks like Tim McLeish as Ryan heads right on by, and I think that's probably some lap traffic there. No, that was for position. It was for ninth position, I'm sorry there. So Jerry now taking 8th away from Ryan and right behind Tim, and this is also a move for position as Tim is very slow on his outlap, lets them by, but probably figures it's not a big deal because it's unlikely that these two have pitted, and so they'll probably be heading to
exactly.
pit soon.
He'll make that back up as when they make their pit stops. So.
Jumping on board now, Mike Young's car, the number 19, or rather the number 21, sorry, in 19th. And he's chasing down Jason Gordon and heading down into Eau Rouge. It looks like he'll make the pass. Yep, Jason gave that to him, no contest.
still a long way to go in the race. I just think that he'll chose to fight that battle another day.
Get a great sense for the performance difference here in the 4GT compared to the LMP class through these corners. Really taking it easy, going a slow entrance, and taking a lot of curb there. But obviously the car swallowed it up, no trouble. And it looks like Jason was well off pace there because Mike has gotten far, far away from him. So maybe there was some damage involved in that. Well, let's turn our attention now to Ryan Corns now. And Jerry Morsdorf made that, well, really pretty easy looking pass before. And Ryan now trying to hunt down Jerry for 9th position.
They look quite evenly matched through this portion of the track. Oh, maybe Ryan getting a little bit of advantage there on Jerry as they head toward Longchamp.
Well, there's definitely not too much separating them here, but I doubt there's going to be a pass in the cards as we head into the bus stop. No, Ryan is going to play it smart.
Jerry defended the inside line quite well going into the bus stop, so not really giving, or Jerry defended rather, and that didn't give Ryan anywhere to make a pass.
Nice looking exit there from La Source, although it doesn't look like it made any difference in speed, as Jerry has definitely pulled away a little bit.
Now I know that Jerry has made his pit stop, or his first pit stop, a lap or two ago. I don't believe Ryan has yet, as far as I'm aware.
Well, if he hasn't, then we're definitely going to see him pull in probably in the next lap.
He's running right on the...
Jerry almost spinning the car into the wall there, but managing to save it. Looking now at Brad Dawson in 9th position, who we haven't seen much from yet this race. And he's got Ryan Huff right behind him. Oh, that was a very, very wide or left path.
Yeah, you can see.
Through.
He had to let off the throttle right there to make up that last time. Otherwise, he'll be penalized. That's something you really have to be careful of, because you're very tempted to want to take that corner, really just cut it. But as you can see, the result there, it really hurts you going down Kimmel Straight.
Yeah, and I think he may have given back a little bit more time than he had to, but I guess he didn't want to take any risks there. Wow, look at that. Ryan really on the tail of Jerry, just looking for that opportunity.
Not quite enough there.
Although
but Jerry looks like he took a little extra speed going into the bus stop.
That's absolutely right, and let's see if it's going to make a difference. No, Ryan is very slow to get on the gas coming out of the bus stop. Just taking a look at the standings as they are, Timothy Stoll 29 seconds ahead of Clint Vigas in second. So Timothy really cruising along now. Similar situation in the Ford GTs, where Kevin is 16 seconds off of the leader, Wyatt Foster, and Mark Payne now in the pits. And he is exiting the pits. He's currently listed at... Oh, I'm sorry. He's exiting the first part of the pits, so he's got a second section to go through. Probably also going to have to take fuel. On board now with Brian Carey. And Mark Payne currently listed in first position, but I suspect he was just the last to pit there.
Yeah, as I look at the timing and scoring, it shows most everyone else down a lap. So
no, that's a minute. Everyone's down over a minute.
Oh, okay, 1 minute, gotcha. So yes, he definitely is the last to pit in the HPD class, as far as the leaders are concerned.
Well, that probably means with 81 minutes remaining that Mark is trying for a two-pit strategy. Well, getting past Mark in the pits brings Brian Carey up to 8th, and Tim McLeish now about 2 seconds behind him. But that's a very long-looking 2 seconds. And Ryan Corns heading through some traffic. Let's see who's behind him. I think that's a lapped HPD if I'm... Oh no, I'm sorry, that's Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So Ryan was finally able to make the pass on Jerry.
Oh! And tried to go on the outside of Eau Rouge, and I think he collected Jerry as well, and that is an enormous accident. Yes, that's Jerry flipping off, and I hope he's all right.
Wow.
That Ford GT is trying to move, but that's just not happening.
No, that suspension is just ruined. So that was quite a large accident coming through the Eau Rouge, and that is really something that I'm not surprised we see more often because of, especially in multi-class race, you have a slower car going through Eau Rouge, and this faster car, you really, as the faster car, you want to get through Eau Rouge with as little time lost as possible because you want to get as much speed. Oh, we can see there's still cars on the track there. Because your top speed on a Kimmel Straight is so important, but sometimes it's better to just be patient and take the time lost so that way you don't end up with something like that.
Yeah, that was 3 drivers out from that maneuver, unfortunately. It's so true, especially in the LMP2 category, where the corner speeds are so important. They really don't have any more top-line speed than the Ford GT, so they're making up all of their time in the corners. And it looks like we've got another Corvette, the number 30, and that's Alex Hilary, and he is off and stopped at the moment. So I think...
And he was running in 3rd position, that's
dropping now down to 4th. It doesn't look like he is moving at all, so that is probably the end of race for Alex. I wonder what happened there. Well, back to what we're watching. We have James Cullen and Daniel Gralti, focusing now on James Cullen in 4th, Daniel Gralti now up in 3rd. And 56 of James Cullen. Got the Works Ford GT of Daniel Gralti.
Mm-hmm. These guys are about 45 to 46 seconds off the leader, so they're a bit of ways from first position, but
it's a private battle for the podium, though.
Yep, exactly. Yep, this is battle for 3rd right here. So let's take a moment again to thank our sponsor, Z1 Sim Wheel. They make a
a wide range of sim racing products, from LCD screens for your own personal display off your screen and in your real life above your wheel where it should be, right up to a fully featured sim wheel with the LCD display integrated, and lots of customization options available. So check them out at z1simwheel.com.
Yeah, they make a great product, and I wish I had a G27 to be able to get one of those wheels, because those are some those really look cool. So I might have to look at getting one of those boxes, because those really will add to the realism of the iRacing sim and other sims as well. It's not just for iRacing. A lot of computer-based sims work with their products. So yeah, like Dan said, check them out.
And in fact, special prize to the cleanest driver of the season is one of their LCD boxes. So whoever... an HPD going off, and let's see if he can recover without going into the wall.
I believe that was PJ Lossie. And I don't think there was any contact. Just a little miscommunication with that Ford GT, and he maybe overcorrected to avoid contact. So... And
let's see. Yeah, but I don't see him back on track. So I think he may have, even though there's no contact with James there, I think he may have put it into the wall. But anyway, to the cleanest driver, that is the driver with the most races with 0 incident points, they will get a LCD display from Z1 Simwheel.
As a awesome prize that we are very pleased to partner with Z1 Simwheel with for this series. That's a great partnership we have with them.
And it's also great to see, I mean, that it's one box for all 3 classes, so it's not based on how many times you win, it's just purely on how clean driver you are.
Exactly, and this gives, we're all not the same skill level. I know this is my first season in the HPD, and I'm definitely not up there with the fastest guys, but this definitely gives me something else that I can compete for. I can strive to be maybe not the fastest, but the cleanest out there, and this gives everyone a award to be able to strive for. So I think that's a great thing that we have here in the ISRA.
And let's quickly, as long as we're plug ISRA League. It's open to anyone. The rule is simply that you have to be courteous and clean. And if you want to get started multiclass racing, we have the GTC, who anyone is welcome to join as a what we call fill the grid driver in the Ford GT to start you out. And you can work your way up through the Corvette and HPD. But we also have a great STC Street Touring Challenge, and that this season is a lot of fun. It's the SRF, the Spec Racer Ford, and the Mazda Miata MX-5, and the Pontiac Solstice, all 3 together, racing for separate points in each in their different classes, but all sharing the same points pool. So... check out ISRAleague.com for more information on both those leagues. And that was Wyatt. No, was that Wyatt Foster blowing his engine?
I believe it is, and that is the race leader for the GT2 class.
And he's just pulling off. He's at the pits, but he's worried that he'd get stuck in the pits, and that's just end of race for Wyatt. That is a disaster for him. And that opens up the field enormously because he did have such a large gap.
Right.
Kevin Parrish now entering the pits. That's probably his first pit stop of the race. And Daniel Gralti currently still being shown in third, but when he gets past the pits here, he's going to be shown in second. On board with James Cullen in the 4th position. Heading through the bus stop. That's an angle you don't usually get to see, but low to the ground is pretty exciting. Being chased down by Gilles in his Corvette. And there we are. Daniel Gralti now being shown in second, and James Cullen in third. Oh, and just looping it, not hitting the wall, but letting some traffic by there. And on board now with Daniel Gralti in second position in the GT2 class. And since Kevin was in the pits, Daniel's actually now elevated to first position now.
And it looks like James is going to give him a challenge for first position.
That's right. James trying for the inside and makes the pass for first. That's a great pass. Daniel obviously saw it coming and didn't protest too much.
And passing them in the HPD, so you can see John Kuzlin and not too far behind Dan. I believe that's your car.
That's right. I'll be following about 3 seconds behind John there. So let's see how I'm able to get through the traffic here, splitting up Daniel and James on the right-hander.
Nice pass right there, and then I believe you'll get him on the next right-hander. Oh, making a move on the outside. Nice one.
And the light standings on the side of the car still showing Daniel in first, because those will be updated when the lap finishes.
Mm-hmm.
As they both head for the pits now. And let's see who exits first. Jumping on board now with Ryan Huff, and he's running fourth now, so that's quite an advancement for him. So well done, Ryan. I think he was down in eighth not too long ago.
Yep, he's managed to... He qualified in 15th position, so that's quite a big gain for Ryan, so good job there.
And
looks
Ryan
like he's
also heading for the pits.
Heading to the pits.
Good, I'm glad to see he's putting the gas on in that little corridor before the pit speed limit is enforced.
Mm-hmm.
Timothy going a little bit wide there on the exit of Eau Rouge. But aside from one ink, he won't see any penalty from that.
Nope. Timothy Stoll currently has about a 34-second lead over second-place Clinton Vicus, so managed to maintain that very large gap in the GT1 class.
And while we have a little lull in the racing, we're just going to cruise around with him for a bit. Looks like he's also got a lull in traffic here. Looks like he's racing all by himself. And here we have Daniel and James, or rather, James exiting the pits. And looks like James got out first. Oh, I'm sorry, Daniel got out. Oh, yeah, James got out first.
James did, yep. They exited as they entered, so they'll resume their battle on track.
Now that's interesting. I was figuring one of them might try for a lower fuel load right now to try to exit the pits faster, but maybe they figured tires were going to take long enough, so they went for a pretty heavy fuel fill.
I believe the GT cars can make this race in one stop, right?
Can they? Yeah, I guess you're right. We're 67
if you really
minutes
push the
in,
fuel,
so.
yeah, I think you can just about make it.
That would be cutting it close. I mean, 120-minute race, and we're 67 minutes left, so we're not quite halfway there. Well, we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah,
then.
They may have to pit one more time for a quick splash of fuel to be able to make it to the end.
And now watching Matthew Voigt's Dirt Devil. That's the Greek painted car that I mentioned earlier in the broadcast. And he's in 8th, chasing down Ryan Huff. And Ryan Huff, well, let's see. Has he fallen down? He's fallen down to 7th. So I think some pit stops had a hand in elevating him up to 4th temporarily. And back with James and Daniel.
Still fighting for the first position. Looks like just about equal going into the bus stop. And just about equal coming out as well.
Well, I think they're going to drop way down once they cross the start-finish here. Let's just see. If they lose their dots.
It looks like it, yeah, it looks like... Oh.
No, they've got them 2nd and 3rd. Oh, yeah, there we are, 2nd and 3rd.
Yep, 2nd and 3rd,
okay, good.
So Kevin Parrish has taken the lead in the Ford GT class.
And he's taken it quite strongly. He's 39 seconds ahead of James, so... Taking the torch from Wyatt there, no challenge there at the moment for first.
And we can also see the Red Bull Ford GT of James Mines in some of these shots. He's not too far behind these guys, about 4 seconds or so.
And it's been a while since we've gone through the standings. Let's run through them again. We've got in LMP2 class, David Serrois is leading. And then Mark Payne is taking up 2nd, 8 seconds behind. John Kuzlin in 3rd, 38 seconds behind David. And then Daniel Quaroni just close behind John. And Chuck Chambliss, he's minute 15 down from the leader.
In the GT1 Corvette class, we have Timothy Stoll currently leading. Giles Moret is in the 2nd place. Clint Vigas is in 3rd. Stephen Clark 4th, and Mike Taylor rounds out the top 5.
That's right, but as we look at this, it looks like everyone except for Tim and Gilles is a lap down. So I'm wondering if pit stops are going to play a part in that, and maybe they'll start to come up. At any rate, in the GT2 class, we've got Kevin Parrish leading, and then as we mentioned, here we are watching James and Daniel down in 2nd and 3rd, 40 seconds behind him, and James Mines, 4 seconds back from that, and Andy Gooderson, another 10 seconds back or so from James. And it looks like you've got John Kuzlin and myself there coming
looks
behind
like you've,
John.
Yeah, it looks like you've closed the gap quite a bit on John. As you go by James Mines in the Ford GT, looks like John was able to get a little bit of space on you going through La Source.
Yeah, I think I got a little bit hung up behind James, but I made it through Eau Rouge without anyone in my way, so that was the important part.
Yep, very crucial to make up as much speed as you can. Probably not quite in drafting range right here, but I want to get as close as possible to John, so next straight, you'll be in that drafting range.
And that Ford GT was all it took of Daniel Gralti. Both of us taking the inside on Daniel and James as we go through the carousel. Bruxelles, sorry. Not the carousel on this track. And that's going to put us just about half a second apart as we head through Pujon. And taking a wider line there. Getting more speed on the exit, but I don't think there's any opportunity there. Nope. This is a battle for 3rd here. John in 3rd position at the moment. On board now with me. as we try to see if the drafting effect is going to pull me in, and it definitely looks like I'm closing there.
It looks like it is. Yep.
My normal top speed around here would be 162 or so. Here I'm at 165, so getting a very nice effect of
pulling
drafting.
up and then we're going to make a move on the inside going into the bus stop. You'll have the advantage going in, and you'll take the inside or the inside line going through the left-hander, so that will give you the position for third place.
And starting to open that gap up a little bit. But John will be drafting on me up here on Kemmel.
I thought you might have just pulled out enough to avoid the draft, but it looks like you might have. You didn't get as close as you did on the back straight there. So you will maintain your position going through those first couple of corners. As we go on board here with Todd Carver, currently in 6th position in the Ford GT.
And he's chasing down Andy Gooderson in 5th. And Andy Gooderson in the Team Tortoise Ford GT. We've got Todd in the DH, the German area marked car. Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's actually his own paint. I thought he was using the default stock paint, and I'm wrong. As Todd hugs Bruxelles on the inside, gets a good run on Andy here as they head towards Pujon. Yep. Todd on the inside.
And he'll make the pass. Looks Andy defended going into that left-hander. Maybe shouldn't have done that because that compromised his exit speed, and that gave Todd the opportunity to pass.
Todd went quite wide through Pujon, and I'm surprised that Andy, who didn't, wasn't able to take advantage of that, because it's definitely slower to take it the way Todd did there, getting on the gas and then lifting a little bit. But you can see there fighting the wheel and avoiding a spin there as he headed through the right-hander in Campus. And 59 minutes to go, so we are halfway through this race. And jumping just a little bit ahead to Daniel Gralti and James Mines, James Cullen. The battle going on here for third. For second. Daniel Gralti currently running in third.
Let's see, James has managed to pull out a little bit against Daniel, but it's still both fairly close.
Oh, but that was a big mistake by James.
It looked like James was a little quick going into the corner and then tried to scrub off some speed, was still a little quick going through the left-hander, and managed to save a spin, though, so that was good maneuvering on his part.
Not only did he save a spin, but it doesn't look like he really lost any time.
Yeah, exactly. That's some of the brilliance of that move, I guess.
Look at him bouncing off the curbs. I mean, he is really using all the track and almost then some. Daniel Gralti definitely running a tidier line there. I think probably James might be feeling the pressure of Daniel right on his back. And I believe Timothy Stoll is going to be popping up right behind Daniel in a moment. Probably won't be able to make a move, though, until after the bus stop, I would guess. Well, maybe not. Maybe he's got some.
He may be able to. We'll see as I go through Blanchimont, but he might be able to get by Daniel going into the bus stop.
Well, Timothy's on the outside, but it looks like he's able to do it under braking. Well, let's see if he disturbs James going through La Source. That's going to be the key into getting that good run down through to Eau Rouge.
Looks like he gets by quite cleanly.
Yes,
James giving a little extra room.
Yeah, I was going to say, very wide line there from James.
Allow Daniel to make up a bit of that time that he lost going through the bus stop, side by side with Timothy. While we're on the kind of talking about the Corvettes, I'm going to run through the standings now that the pit stops are all finished. Timothy Stoll is the leader, followed by Clint Vigas, who is about 48 seconds behind him. Giles Moret is in third, about 55 seconds behind. Mike Taylor in fourth, being shown 2 laps down. Stephen Clark is in fifth, also being shown 2 laps down.
Well, that means that top 3 are probably pretty well decided now in the Corvette class. Mm-hmm. Let's see, if we turn our attention, though, to LMP, David Savoy, the leader, has a 30-second advantage on Mark Payne, and then a 40-second advantage on me, but John Kuzland, 8 seconds behind me, and Chuck Chambliss, a minute 41. So really the top 4 in any contest with each other, and then Chuck Chambliss in fifth, pulling up a long rear. Mm-hmm. And, well, it looks like the closest battles and the best contention for the lead is all in Ford GTs. Kevin Parrish having a big lead over James Cullen of 42 seconds, but then obviously we see Daniel Gralti right with him, and James Mines just 2 seconds back from there. Todd Carver is 54 seconds off Kevin, so he's a good 10 seconds behind James, who, well, that puts him 14 seconds or so back behind the action that we're watching right here. And even then, Andy Gooderson only 2 seconds behind Todd, so...
There's a lot of battles to be fought in the Ford GT class.
Daniel Gralti keeping it under control through La Source, on the exit getting a little bit sideways, but getting some good grip down. Not letting it get too wide, and on that paint is it's just like oil. Mm-hmm. Oh, and I think that was no damage, but some brake locking there from Brad Dawson.
Looked like he took quite a bit of that curb on that right-hander right there. Probably a scary moment for him.
And it's let Ryan Huff get right up on his tail. Doesn't look like it's cost him quite enough speed to make the difference on the pass, but they also have, Matthew? Is it? Matthew Voigt right behind him. Oh, Ryan Huff making a... I mean, that obviously wasn't intentional.
No.
I think that Brad, having just locked up, was a little bit early on the brakes and really caught Ryan off guard, and that's going to cost Ryan the position to Matthew.
Yep. But kudos to Ryan for making that avoidance maneuver, and he lost a lot of time, but his car is still in the race with no damage, so good job on his part.
Well, that gives us a good pack here of Brad, Matthew, and I believe that's Andy. Let's see. No, I think is that Joe Jr. in the blue Ford GT?
I cannot see the number on that car.
Well, on board now with Matthew Voigt in the Dirt Devil. And getting a much better line there through Lacombe. You want to keep that inside to set up for the right-hander, because that's going to lead onto the straight. And let's see if we can get that
Still
number.
couldn't catch the number on that Ford GT.
Let's see if we can get it here. Nope. He's just a little bit too far back.
But some great racing between these three guys right here. They're all real close. They're all keeping good pace with each other. Brad and Matthew are both fighting for position. I don't think the Ford GT behind them is on their lead or their lap, so that is not for position. But he definitely wants to try and keep pace.
No, and I think that was if I'm right, it's the 36. And that would be Alexei Dronov, and I think that's right. That looks like his colors.
Yes, it does. Yep. Now that you say that, yep, I believe you're right.
Alexei keeping good pace with them, though, although going off wide. Possibly good pace, but maybe not completely consistent. And
as we go back to Daniel Gralty and James still fighting for that second position. James still holding on to it right now. Although going quite wide there.
Yeah, that's definitely going to cost him.
And
although there is, I think that's Tim. Let's see, yeah, Tim McLeish in his LMP. Looking for a spot to pass, but not finding it right there. Tim currently running 6th.
Looks like Tim will be able to get past both cars. Yes, he will, before Blanchimont. Yep, does get by James, which is good for both of them. Well, they can take their normal lines through and maintain their speed.
Although James running quite wide in many places, once again showing that pressure that Daniel is applying to him.
James getting through the bus stop a little bit quicker than Daniel on that one, and the time that Daniel had made up was, you can see Daniel getting a little squirrely coming out of the source. I think overall Daniel must be faster, but just in the key parts where a lot of the passing goes on, that he's not quite as fast as James, and so James is able to hold on to that second position as of right now.
And switching now to Andy Gooderson, he's in 6th at the moment, and I believe he is passing Todd Carver on the right as they head into Eau Rouge. Whoa. Getting a little trouble with the throttle application, and almost, I think, rotating through Eau Rouge right at the top.
I think he let off the throttle there just in case he gained any time there, because I don't think he managed to get a penalty there, but I think he left it off just in case. Didn't want to have to slow down even more going down Kimmel Straight.
And nose to tail as they head into Pujon. Both taking a good line through. Looks like Todd getting a little bit wider, but using a good amount more of the track, and also taking a less exaggerated line through there. So I think he's got some good speed on him there, but just no opportunity to pass. And I think he's going to be looking for the opportunity here, though, as he's right just inches off of Andy's bumper.
A little bit wide through Blanchimont, so I don't think he'll have the speed to, he won't, to make a pass through the bus stop.
And he's headed into the pits anyway, so maybe he wasn't trying that hard for a pass. So that is going to leave, I believe, Matthew Voigt behind Brad. And we're now looking at Chuck Chambliss in the pits. This is going to be his second pit stop with 46 minutes to go. And Chuck taking tires and fuel.
And by my estimates, he will have to pit one more time before this race is over to be able to complete the time.
And Chuck now heading out of the pits. And watching Mike Taylor in the 66 Corvette now.
He's currently running in 5th place. The next closest Corvette is Stephen Clark, but he is, according to our scoring, 1 lap farther. It looks like he overshoots his braking point a little bit there going through the bus stop.
And he's going to have to give up some time there. Yes, he's not getting on the gas for a little while. And there he goes. And here, this looks like it's it's John Kuzlin, in the pits. John Kuzlin pitting, and so obviously the LMP's coming in for their second round here. That's me going by into Eau Rouge, and that's going to put John down into 4th. So I think I must have already pitted at this point, and that's how he got by me. And watching Matthew Voigt now from the chopper cam. Matthew running in 8th. And trying to chase down Brad Dawson, who has looks like a good second lead on him.
You can see you go making your way through the GT traffic.
And you can see the speed difference right there on those long, fast sweepers. Just darting right by on the inside without any trouble.
Yeah, I'm not sure how fast these Ford GTs are going through there, but those the LMP2 cars are, they're pushing 140, 150 or so through those corners.
Yeah, that's right. Would have taken a little bit easier to take the inside line there, but still probably going around 135 and 140.
Exactly, yeah, you can see the vast difference, all the downforce of those prototype cars.
And back now with our favorites, Daniel Gralti and James Cullen, who are still battling, not quite nose to tail now, but definitely still very close. I think they're just one, traffic negotiation away from being nose to tail at the moment.
I believe you're right. Yep, that's usually all it takes. And it looked like that was who was that? James Mines, who he's not exactly in the battle for position with these guys, but he's not out of it either. He's looks like he's managed to close up a little bit of the distance that he had on James and Daniel.
And that looks like some lapped traffic in that red and blue Ford GT that they're coming up with. And here's where that traffic negotiation I talked about is going to come into play. Not traffic with a different class, instead this time with their own class, but it's definitely going to be a factor, as it looks like James is having a little bit of trouble getting by. Oh, I'm sorry, no, that's actually James Cullen, and that's James Cullen in second, as I look at the timing board. So this is second, third, and fourth, and fifth, really. All just very closely packed together. And here's the pass for second, as James goes on the inside and he's going to have it no trouble whatsoever. And, well, Daniel's going for it too, and he gets it as well. And
actually, I believe that was a lap car of
you're
Jomar
absolutely
Green.
You're right. And
still playing a factor in their battle, though. As you can see, Daniel has made up some time on James going down Kimmel Straight.
All right. Well, the timing board is lying to me then. I see. You know what? I read it wrong. That was my own darn fault. James was in second. He was always in second while we've been watching him here. So I apologize for that. Getting excited over nothing.
Well, it just goes to show that GTs will eventually have their own traffic to negotiate. It's not just the Corvettes and the HPD cars. Traffic can play a part in their own race too. So
they get to do a little passing too. As John, is this John Kuzland? It looks like it. Comes up behind. Nope, that's not John Kuzland. That's Mark Payne.
Who is that? Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason he was green and white before was just a texture memory issue. He's got his proper texture on right now. So as a couple cars have retired, that's given my system a little bit more memory for some skins. And there's Chuck Chambliss going around the outside of Daniel Giralty and trying to get past James. And struggling down the straight with that very similar top-line speed.
Yep, and then even in some cases, that's really a good example right there of how the HPD makes up so much of its time through the corners, because even some of the Corvettes will match, or even sometimes, depending on setup, will surpass the HPD in top speed going down long straight.
Oh, absolutely. I think most of them do. Even with a low downforce package, some of the LMPs can keep up, but for the most part, Corvette is faster down the straights no matter what.
We saw Daniel make an attempt to pass James for second, going on the inside there through the bus stop, but James took the inside going into the left-hander and maintains that second position.
And I think James Mines has inched his way a little bit closer, so he will become a factor soon, I think.
Mm-hmm. I believe you're right, yeah, because he's not in this battle, so he's able to just focus on running clean laps and maintaining his pace while these guys are out here fighting it out. So I'm sure he's all for them battling, because, yeah, we can see him quite close now in the picture. So.
And James going on the inside, or rather Daniel going on the inside, I apologize, but we're going to shift gears a little bit and watch Matthew Voigt here with Jomar Green. And we haven't watched too much of Jomar to this race. This is the battle for 10th.
Another chance to look at that great livery Dirt Devil Ford GT.
And, of course, now we see it was Jomar who they were passing there, going up through La Source. So this is a lap down, both Jomar and Matthew. Matthew closing in very quickly on Jomar, and it looks like he's going to try for the pass. He doesn't quite have it going into Pujon.
He poked his nose out. Nope, but you're right.
He's got it in the middle of Pujon. Wow, this is that's a bold pass, but a good pass going side by side through Pujon. It's not quite a pass yet, though, as Jomar has the inside line, and they're nearly side by side, but Jomar giving it up and eating up a little bit too much curb, and that's going to cost him.
I know Jomar is I believe he's one of our new racers here this season, right?
Well, that's right. He's been racing in the STC series for a season or two, but this is his first time in the GTC.
Always great to see any new racers that we have. And Jomar doing a pretty good job. He's currently in 11th in his debut GTC race, so it's not bad on his part.
And once again, welcoming all of our listeners to check out ISRAleague.com. Join us in the excellent racing and learn a little bit about multiclass done right. Back to Daniel and James Cullen, our favorite battle on track this evening.
And it looks like they still have about that same half-second gap or so. Well, it's probably less than half a second now, but they've maintained this distance for quite a bit of the race that we've, at least whenever we've been watching them. So
that's right. I think they've been keeping this up for a good hour now. So must have been a whole lot of fun for them. That's my favorite kind of race. It's even better when you can do it in a good position like second and third. But these close battles are definitely what I live for. Oh, wow. James getting really squirrely under braking. I think braking a little bit late there.
Even up a lot of curve going through those that corner there too. So it looks like Daniel's really able to pull up onto the back of him going into Pujon.
Well, and that's what we've seen all race. Daniel running more consistently and more cleanly, but James able to keep that speed. Daniel, though, pulling up alongside on the outside of Campus. Being on the outside, not able to make a move there, but getting the inside, but a little bit behind. And pulling right back in behind James, but just a moment behind him.
And you can see the LMPF Mark Payne also coming through here. I don't know if he'll play a factor in their battle or not, as he may get by going down the straightaway. Yep.
Yeah, there he is going by on the right. Although here, you can see, I think he had to rein in his speed on the corner, and Ford GT is now able to easily keep up, although where they have to brake for this left-hander, he does not. And Tim McLeish also coming up behind them, so and I'm also there, so a lot of LMP traffic here, although that's going to put Tim McLeish 2 laps down, actually. Whereas, hey, actually, I am
currently being shown in second place right now.
That's right. I don't know how that's happened. Mark Payne was on a 2-stopper, and he must have made his second stop at this point. I think that's what did it.
Looks like, nope, Tim McLeish pulls in between the two Ford Gs to go through a Rouge.
And the ever-present James Mines just hanging back, but only by about a second or two. Let's see.
He's really
he's
close
only
to
a
gap,
second
because
behind
at one
Daniel
point,
now,
about
so,
20 minutes ago, he was about 4 seconds or so behind. So he's really closed the gap on these two guys.
Well, I think that battle that they had there through campus really let him close probably a second or two. And, well, let's see what happens once Daniel has some pressure on his back now. If these two aren't careful and they fight too hard, then James will be able to slip by both of them. On board once again with Daniel Gralti in his Ford GT. James looks like he took that entry a little bit hot, got on the brakes just before he would get on the gas. And now we are going to switch to Kevin Parrish, our race leader. And we haven't seen really much of him since he has a good 50-second lead now on James Cullen.
Yep. He's had a nice quiet race.
And he spins it. He loops it completely through La Source. And fortunately, the traffic, I think that was Timothy Stoll up behind him, managed not to run into him.
Yep, and no damage for him, so he'll be able to continue racing. And luckily for him, he does have that 50-second lead over Daniel Gralti, who has actually made the pass for second place over James.
While we were watching Kevin spin it, Daniel made that pass. So well done, Daniel, and James Mines right there with them. So here we have second, third, fourth, and a nice hot battle here. Oh, wow. And James getting a little bit sideways. We'll get to watch that, how should we call it, very active racing that James has been doing from the driver's seat now. Nice line, sawing the wheel on the getting the power down out of La Source. A nice line through Eau Rouge. I think Daniel cut it a little bit on the inside. We'll have to see if he's going to have to slow down to avoid a black flag. And whether or not he did that for black flag, James
Not
definitely
sure.
has the speed, but Daniel's got the inside line.
Mm-hmm. James falls in behind him, and
Daniel taking a little bit too much speed there into the right-hander, but it's not going to do him any good. James, though, I think...
James Mines? Oh, no. It looked like he was going to make an attempt to get third there, but... Ooh.
Oh, wow. Yep.
Ooh,
wow,
another
James
good
Cullen
save there
really
by
just
James
holding
Cullen.
into him.
Yeah. I have to say, he's probably going to be exhausted after this race. He's had so many saves that we've seen on screen, and probably more that we haven't seen on screen, so...
And looks like John Kuzland will be... Oh, no.
I believe that is John Kuzland, yes.
Yep, okay. Although he's hanging back. He's far enough back from the main competition in the HPDs that I guess... whoa! And that's Timothy Stoll going into the middle pit lane there. Fortunately, keeping it going in the right direction. But scary moment for him. He almost put it in the wall. But the real focus here is Ryan Huff and Andy Gooderson, and they've been mixing it up. I think the last time we watched them, Andy was ahead of Ryan, so not sure what the drafting strategy is there from Ryan going off to the side, although looks like they're lapping a Corvette, and Ryan going off and taking the bike path to get back onto the track.
I wonder if that looks like he probably just missed his braking point because he gets back on track and back in the race. But that's a costly mistake there. I believe that was for position. So
yeah, that's right. That's going to elevate Andy up to 7th. Someone kicking up some dirt. Probably Andy right up ahead. And it looks like, as I'm looking in the background, we've got Mark Payne and myself coming right up. So this is a battle for second in HPDs heading by. And Mark getting by on the inside.
let's see, Mark has magically switched back to his default paint job.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with that, but... well, I guess we'll just have to work with it. Looking now back at James Mines as he tries to chase down, it looks like still James Cullen following Daniel Gralty, so 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. On board now as James Cullen kicks up a little puff of dust. Looks like there's a slightly early turn in there from James Mines, but, well... He manages to keep it going, loses a little bit more speed on the entry, but it looks like he's got good speed on the exit.
Mine's maybe taking a little bit much corner or curbing on that right-hander, but doesn't seem to have affected him too much.
Well,
James Cullen, however, speaking of curbing, takes a little bit of extra curbing on that one. He seems to like doing that for some reason, but doesn't seem to affect his speed too much. So I guess whatever works.
Well, we'll have to go with that. It seems to be the James driving style. And heading into the braking zone for the bus stop, James going right, probably just to make sure he doesn't take a piece out of James Cullen. Very nice early throttle application. He's closing in a little bit on James Cullen, but it's not going to do any good as they head to the source, and James Mines is still behind.
Looks like with these two kind of going at it, it looks like Daniel Gralty is able to pull out a little bit of an advantage over James Cullen.
With 27 minutes left in the broadcast, we once again want to thank our sponsor, Z1 Simwheel. You can check them out at z1simwheel.com. And James Mines, got to be specific here, looking for something on the outside, but James Cullen defending on the inside, so nothing for him there in Lacombe.
We can just think that Daniel Gralty is just loving these two guys battling, because that just allows him to, looks like, drive right off with second place. So he's all for these guys fighting it out.
And that, is that Brian? I think that might be Brian Carey heading by them. I think it is. And James Cullen giving a wide line with apparently Lance Snyder, chasing Brian, and that is for 7th. And let's see if Lance taking the inside right there, not on campus, Stavelot, is going to make a difference. James Cullen going wide also on the exit there. So Mines closing in.
Now we focus on Daniel Qualroni here, currently in 3rd place. About 7 seconds or so off of Mark Payne in 2nd.
Although Mark had a little problem there,
right.
So
you are now right on his back bumper.
And Mark running the low downforce, me running the medium, and you can see I don't normally brake for Brujon, and so right in that section I am just being held up, and there's nothing I can do.
You can definitely see the difference between a low downforce setup and a medium downforce. As you make thought about making a pass there on the outside, didn't quite have the speed to get around, but
and
now we go into the straight portion where Mark will have the advantage. Although with you right behind him, you may be able to keep pace just because of the draft.
Well, that's it. Normally he would have quite an advantage here, but I think the draft is going to give it a little bit to me in my favor. 165, as I said, 162 being my normal top speed there.
Both you guys getting through the bus stop nicely. Looked like Mark braked a little bit quicker than you were expecting there.
Well, that's right. I had to adjust. I think this is probably the first time I was quite so close to Mark, so I had to adjust to his low downforce brake points, and caught me off guard a little bit, and obviously I lost a little bit of time due to it. Here once again drafting, though. Although Mark pulling a little bit out and leaving me out of his draft, I think, at the end of the Kemmel Straight there. But back into the twisty parts, and I should be right back on him. And it looks like I got a very good exit out of that left-hander, heading into Prujon. I thought there was an opportunity there, but there wasn't. I got a little bit too hard on the brakes. Unfortunately, locked it up, and as you can see, spun it. But didn't hit a wall. It just cost me my close positioning with Mark.
And we can see
once again,
Joe Jr. looks like, yep.
And Joe Jr. currently in 7th.
Going back to your spin quickly, I don't think you'll even lose a position just looking at the scoring between you and John Kuzlin. He's back quite a good distance on you, so it looks like you'll maintain the 3rd spot.
Yes, but you can see that cost me 7 seconds or so on Mark.
Mm-hmm.
And with Mark running a 2-stopper and me running a 3-stopper, the key there was I really needed to get by him and get away so that I could exit the pits ahead of him, but not going to happen, it doesn't look like. And looking at Mike Taylor running in 5th position in the Corvette. as he heads through Pujon. And goes sideways. Oh! Really buries it in the wall.
Definitely will have, looks like some serious front suspension damage there.
Yeah, he's being careful and running on the outside. I think, well, he's probably checking it out, feeling it out, and seeing if he can continue. But that one looked pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
And once again with Timothy Stoll leading the Corvettes.
I think he's been leading pretty much the entire 2 hours here at Spa.
Yes, he certainly has. Once he got past Don, that was it. And Don Hunter now parked and I think permanently in 8th because Alex Illeri in 7th is also parked.
Mm-hmm. Remember, we had, looks like, what was this?
Well, back to Mike Taylor. Yeah.
Yep.
And he's trying to make his way around with that damage. He will probably head into the pits now. Oh, look at him going a little bit sideways on a braking and
looping. Spin it in the bus stop.
And waiting to let some traffic by.
Just saw the second and third place for GTs of Daniel and James.
And back to Timothy Stoll. As he makes his way past, who is that?
I believe that's Kevin Parrish.
Oh, so that's
yep. Those are the 2 class leaders, I believe, right there.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Got the leader dots on the leader lights are lit up. So, yep. Waving a quick hello as Tim McLeish here in 6th, who is 2 laps down, heads on by. And 20 minutes left on the clock. And we are looking at Daniel Giralty, I believe that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it looks like James Cullen was behind him too.
And Daniel getting out of the pits earlier. Well, I wonder if James took tires and Daniel didn't, because it looks like...
Yeah, it looks like he's got quite a gap there coming out of the pits.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, and that shot right there just showed it all. We didn't see James at all in that picture, so...
And looking now, he is shown 4 seconds behind, 5 seconds behind. So, Tim McLeish missing his break point and going off-roading in his HPD. Getting in Daniel's way there. I hope he got by all right. And Joe Jr. in the number 16 Ford GT with Chuck Chambliss in the HPD behind him, trying to find his way past. Going to do it under braking, I expect. There it is. And Joe Jr.
Ooh, missing his braking point, looks like. Maybe he just got a little off as he saw Chuck Chambliss go by in that HPD.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened there. Probably got on the brakes a little bit harder than normal, worried that he was going to hit Chuck, and locked it up. Checking in with David Serwa as we take a tour of the class leaders. David Serwa has a full 55 seconds now on Mark Payne, but he still has to make a pit stop.
We're now at Joe Mara Green in the number 51 4G, currently being shown in the 11th spot. Ooh, and spins it just about a full 360 there.
Yep, but
no damage though.
Nope, pulls it back and gets it straight. And continuing our tour of the leaders, we've got Timothy Stoll. I think probably no close battles going on right now as we just check out what's going on around the track. And that's going to be Mike Taylor, who did all that damage to his Corvette in Pujon. Looks like they didn't get the bodywork fully repaired, but might have the suspension back in working order as he exits the pit after a lengthy repair.
Definitely affect the aerodynamics a little bit, but with only 17 minutes to go, you definitely want to get out there and complete as many laps as possible.
Well, the truth is that unless he makes a move on Marty Jeffries, who's a full lap ahead of him, it's not going to make a difference since Mike is the last running Corvette. But at the same time, I know the feeling you never want to give up, and you never know when the guy ahead of you is going to mess up and end his race.
Yep.
So. Got to be an eternal optimist in order to drive a race car. Always.
And we're looking at James Mines now in the 84 Red Bull 4 GT. Looks like he's in 5th position right now.
That's right. And who took that spot that he fell down? Oh, Todd Carver got ahead of him.
Wonder if that was done in the pits, because I know that James just exited from the pits and is currently on an out lap, so...
On board now with James, and there's me going by on the left as we head into Pujon. Look at the speed difference there.
Yep.
That's it right there. And I got held up a little bit. I didn't want to make the move on Todd, so I slowed it up at that point, but...
you can just see it's like a rocket going by those cars, especially through Pujon.
Yeah, that was definitely the fastest or biggest speed difference here on the track. Talking about downforce packages, the advantage besides that straight line speed of going low downforce is that you are more in line with the performance of the other two classes. It means you don't give up as much of your time in the corners going slower, as we watch Lance Snyder head on the left of Todd Carver, who
misses his braking point going into the bus stop.
Yeah, I think that he didn't quite feel comfortable with Lance and braked maybe at his normal spot, but then Lance turned in ahead of him and he wasn't quite ready for that. So that gave up the spot there to James Mines. So fourth now going, or rather, fourth spot going to James Mines. Yep.
And sometimes it really surprises you how quickly the HPD cars are able to brake and how late into a corner they're able to brake. And sometimes, especially with the Ford GTs where they do have a larger braking zone, it can really surprise you where an HPD will make a pass because just they're able to go so much quicker into the corners.
Well, we're showing Daniel Gralti leading the Ford GTs now with Kevin Parrish 2 seconds behind him. And now James Cullen 13 seconds off Daniel Gralti. So we knew James had that long pit stop, but James Mines too here, who was right with him, is 20 seconds off Daniel Gralti. So I wonder what happened in those pits that these guys lost out so badly.
Yeah, and we know that Daniel has made his final pit stop, so it's not that he just has, it's not the pit rotation that's playing out right now.
Exactly.
That is exactly for the lead, so...
In the meantime, Todd is not giving up that fourth position without a fight, right on James's tail. As we see Gilles here in the monster Corvette ahead of them. We haven't seen much from Gilles this race. I think it's probably been a pretty calm race for him. Let's see, where's he running right now? Third
position. So
so he's running well, but uncontested. So he's just turning laps now for the rest of the 13 minutes until the race is over. And there you can see again the braking difference as I come right up on the back of Daniel Gralti, who is in first and who spins it into the wall.
He does receive some damage there. That was no fault of yours. That was just he got onto the throttle a little too early there, and that bus stop can really throw these cars off. You have to be careful with the throttle application.
That's right, and if we didn't have the magic of computers, maybe you can see it there, that I think he's kicking up a dust cloud, smoke cloud, maybe not. That's Daniel Gralti going really
Quite
slow.
off pace, yep.
And after the race, he said he damaged his engine in that incident. So, despite the lack of smoke, I think that's what's going on with him. I think he's got new power.
Well, it's quite a disappointment for Daniel. He's had such a strong race, and he looked like he had played out a great pit strategy to get himself in the first position, and then to have that incident happen, that's very bad luck for him.
Watching now Andy Gooderson, and he's going to be coming up on Daniel Gralti in a moment, so we'll see Daniel's progress around the track. He is just at the end of the Kemmel Straight. As he limps around and gives Andy the outside, the preferred line to track out, and an HPD coming, Mark Payne, going right on the inside of Andy right there.
Definitely have to have your wits about you, because I was watching his rearview mirror and you couldn't really see Mark come up until he was right alongside him, so you definitely have to be aware and watch that F3 screen. Mark
Payne now being shown in the lead of the LMP class, so I think that David Sirwa must have taken his pit stop. On board now with Todd Carver, and he's chasing down James Mines, with Gilles there getting held up a little bit in the corners, but he'll pull away on the straight here, using the superior power of the Corvette. And going way off, and Gilles also going way off, so I'm pretty sure they were completely unrelated, but I think people are starting to get a little bit tired. James Mines losing a lot of time there to Todd, and I'm wondering if something happened there between Gilles and James that slowed them up and put Gilles off.
Yeah, it's quite possible. I know that they were quite close going into Blanchimont, so it's possible that they could have had a miscommunication, and we saw Gilles go off maybe to avoid contact.
Now I'm expecting to see Mark Payne head by pretty soon, as they were running through Pujon when we jumped ahead just a couple corners. So let's see. Well, there's an HPD coming down the track. Let's see if it's Mark. It is.
Yes, it is.
And Mark has David Sirwa just 4.8 seconds behind him. So as we stay on board with James Mines, this is going to be interesting in a few moments here. Watching the rearview mirror. I don't see Mark yet. Todd making a move on the inside. And it looks like David Sirwa is going to follow him. Or rather, Mark Payne, I'm sorry, made followed Todd through on the inside. So Todd now back up into third in the GTs, and David Sirwa now coming up into the entrance of Pujon behind James. As Mark is in the middle of Pujon. David getting caught up. Ooh. David also running the low downforce package, but still having plenty more speed than a Ford GT through there. Doing a good job to not run into James.
He's able to get by on the left-hander right there.
And Brian Carey, a couple laps down, heads by on the inside as well. But all of that traffic looks like it cost James here a good second or so.
Yep, we did see him and Todd bumper to bumper through the middle of the track, but now I can see a small gap has opened up as they go into the bus stop.
And 7 minutes 43 seconds remaining as we watch this contest for third. On board now with Tim McLeish. And Tim McLeish has Chuck Chambliss right behind him. So we watch for Tim's view, and we should see Chuck here. There he is.
Little ways to go for Chuck to catch up, but he still has a good 7 minutes to make a pass.
They're running 2 laps down from the leaders, but Tim is still in fourth position. So not a podium, but a top 5 on the line here.
Mm-hmm.
And Tim diving into the pits for a last-minute splash of fuel. And that's going to let Chuck by. Back to James Mines. James Mines still running in fourth behind Todd Carver.
Looks like Todd went a little bit wide through that carousel. Although the distance between them, you wouldn't know.
No, Todd's obviously got the pace, so, James turning in far too early, and as a result going a little bit wide and not getting on the throttle when he'd like to. Little late braking in the mid-corner. Took a little bit too much speed in. As the gap has grown now to a 1.5 seconds. And we're looking at 5 minutes and 30 seconds just about. There we are on the clock. And checking in with Timothy Stoll in the lead. And his lead is actually not as comfortable. I'm sorry, it is comfortable. It's a good minute lead. I'm sorry, I looked at the 4GT standings for a moment.
Ooh.
Oh, and Timothy getting on the power a little bit too early. It'll cost him, but nothing really.
Almost saw a repeat of Daniel Gralti in the 4GT right there.
That's right. The bus stop, I guess, loves to lead race or class leaders. Well, with 5 minutes left and a 59.7 second lead, Timothy would do well to take it easy and cruise on home.
Looking now at James Mines, who is still fighting for third place with Todd Carver. Looks like Todd has opened up a gap of about 2 seconds or so against James.
And James obviously trying as hard as he can, but it doesn't look like things are going well for him. 4 minutes left, and the gap is just growing. And James heading through Stavelot. Nice and tidy, and...
Is that Clint Vigas in the pits for a splash and go of fuel?
Yep, and what he's running in second right now. So he obviously was trying to stretch it and wasn't quite able to. I expect to see him in the pits for about 5 seconds, and then he'll probably, get
there
running
he goes.
Again.
Yep. I don't think he's in danger of losing any positions, though. Stephen Clark is in third place, and he is a good lap and a half or so behind him. So
now Mark Payne, who had been on that 2-stop strategy, ending up having to take a third stop just for a quick splash. So that is going to destroy any hopes he had of first place. Let's see if that's going to make the difference, and let me catch up, though. As he exits, he's still a good 45 seconds ahead of me, if that reads right.
Looks like he'll most likely be able to hold on to second place with just over 2 minutes left in the race.
And Timothy Stoll still pushing really hard and missing his break point, taking the bike path onto the track.
Could be a little bit of driver fatigue now setting in. They've been racing hard for almost 2 hours, and not surprised that no one can blame them for a little bit of a mistake here or there. So,
well, that pit stop there that Mark Payne took ended up bringing me within 25 seconds, but that's just not going to do it. Oh no, wait, yeah, that's 25 seconds, yep.
Mm-hmm.
With a minute 24 remaining, watching Brian Carey, and he almost loops it, but manages to save it and keep it going straight. And checking in now with David Serrois.
Comfortably in first place for the LMP2 class, has a lead over Mark Payne of about 55 seconds or so.
And with 1 minute remaining, I think this is probably white flag. Last lap, I think, for David. Let's watch. Checking in with Chuck Chambliss. And Chuck heading into the bus stop.
Chuck has worked his way up to 5th place. Ooh, and getting sideways. Looks like he manages to just barely keep it off of that wall.
Finds reverse, but then can't find first.
Probably just doing some scrambling to try and get the car going as quickly as possible, just causing him to misshift there. Although I don't think he is in danger of losing 5th position. Well, could be, depending on where Brian Carey is on the track.
That's right. They're both 2 laps down. And we now have no time left on the clock, so it's just everyone finishing up their laps and bringing it home. David Serrois here, now going to finish the race. And heads through the bus stop for the last time. Endurance pits, so the start-finish is down on the next straight. Heading
Gets
down
through the source clean.
And takes home the win. So first to David Serrois in the LMP class.
Yep, David had great pace all through the 2 hours of Spa, and that's great to see him take the first win of the season.
And watching now Kevin Parrish as he brings home his last lap.
You can see Mark
there.
Payne right behind him, who will be taking in 2nd place for the LMP2.
That's quite right. And for Infinity Sports, Kevin Parrish is going to be bringing home first in the GT2 class. So, well done, Kevin. And finally, Timothy Stoll heading down with Source for the last time as he completes his last lap, with me heading behind him in 3rd in a rush to get to nowhere. And so let's run down the results here. as people bring it home. Oh, looks like we still have a battle here. Is this... Oh, no, that's not a battle.
Nope.
All right, well...
That's just James celebrating his second-place finish.
All right, so let's talk about standings. We've got, in the HPDs, in the LMP class, we've got David Sirois with 25 points, Mark Payne running with 23, Daniel Quaroni with 20, John Cleveland 18. Then we start dropping pretty quickly down to Brent Riles in 15th, getting 1 point. In the Corvette GT1 class, we've got Timothy Stoll with 25, and Vigas just 3 points down from that. Stephen Clark 5 down, Marty Jeffries 7 with 18 points. And heading down, the last running car, Mike Taylor in 6th, gets 14 points. Once again, looking down to Gerald Livingston in 10th, with the last Corvette running in the race at all. And in GT, we've got Kevin Parrish with 25 points. Running down to Andy Gooderson in 5th with 16. Taking last points in 15th place is John Kelly. We caught up with David Sirois at the end of the race and asked him about how it went. Here's what he said.
I had a great race. I had a great fight with Colin McLean early in the race, but unfortunately he crashed. And after that, Mark Payne was chasing me down very hard. Also, he was on a two-step strategy, and I had to pit 3 times, so I had to push very hard to create a big gap. The car was perfect and fun to drive. Thanks to Orion Race Team and its sponsors SimSport, SimBoot, Coupe Control, Perfect Pedal, PSR TV, and iLeague Race.
Well, thank you, David. And that's it for us here at ISRA League's Grand Touring Championship. Again, a big thank you to Z1 Simwheel and everyone who helped make this race broadcast possible, including all the racers in the Grand Touring Championship, John Rasudos, our live steward who watched over the proceedings, our league admins for making it all possible, Chuck Chambliss for providing the great graphics templates and intro video, my wife for helping me chop up those templates into something I could use for the overlays, and finally Anthony Muniz for joining me in the announcer's booth. Got any last words?
I guess we'll see you next week at Silverstone.
That's right, 70 minutes at Silverstone. Thank you very much for watching. See you all.